with the Geithner announcement. Good morning, Congressman.
Good morning, and thanks for letting me listen to that long and disingenuous statement by a tax cheat. Not that I have a particular, I can't say that on the House floor. I don't think you're allowed to call a tax cheat a tax cheat.
You're not? I thought you could say whatever you wanted.
No. You're not allowed to disparage people, even if it's accurate.
Oh, that's true. There is a level of respect that you guys definitely hold to.
Like, I have no respect for the president not pulling Geithner's. And the whole point is he's overseeing the IRS now. As a matter of fact, I'm planning on having on the bottom of my tax return this year, I'm going to put this one, I have a tax preparer that does it, but underneath his signature, I'm going to have my signature, and then it's going to say, this prepared under the Geithner rule with the Wrangle exemption, and let them figure out what I didn't pay.
Or you could blame it on TurboTax.
Oh, it is a little ridiculous that the guy didn't pay his taxes and he's in charge of the IRS. However, Congressman, he is the man apparently with the plan here. And
No, he's the man rewriting history. So
tell us about it.
Here's the easiest one. He said that we didn't act quickly enough. We took all of 3 weeks to give $700 billion, which both presidential candidates, in fairness, supported. Last night, I was listening to that press conference, TiVoed it, and re-listened to it with the president, and the president talked about how there weren't good controls and the $700 billion first round of TARP was badly done. Somehow he's forgotten that he was a U.S. Senator and led the charge to pass it through a Democrat House and a Democrat Senate. So this is what Geithner's doing right now. He's saying it wasn't quick enough, it wasn't enough money, and there wasn't sufficient controls, all of which begs the question of, well, wait a second here. You can't, look, I don't mind blaming President Bush, former President Bush, for anything. Certainly for being a big spender, a big tax cutter, but a big spender, guilty as charged. But, 2 years ago, Democrats took control. Republicans, in the case of TARP, we voted in the House overwhelmingly, not once but twice, against this. We didn't prevail, but we did prevail in the sense that the majority of us, 2-1, voted against this bill. And they twisted arms to get a few more votes. But at the end of the day, outside of Michigan, most people figured this was just bad.
Yeah.
And it is still bad.
Congressman, can I ask you one question, or actually kind of a couple of questions? The $700 billion that was approved for the banks originally, $350 billion disappeared somewhere. Do you have any idea where that money is?
I do.
Where is it, and what is it doing? Who is it helping?
Basically, they spent $78 billion and lost they spent $350 billion and lost, according to their own investigator, $78 billion so far in what they overpaid for. In other words, the par value of the assets at the time they bought it were overstated by $78 billion. Which
we could have used that in California to balance the budget, some of that.
Well, and, let's go back to the stimulus plan, because that's what's on the agenda for this week. The stimulus plan, one of the things that people like about it, the reason the chambers and governors like it, is that it is, in fact, sending money to the states so the states can not spend their own money. And in the case of California, there's about $12 billion in the House bill that would conceivably allow the state of California to fill their $40 billion deficit, not by making the cuts that they should make, but by, in fact, simply having the federal government pay for cost of education and other state issues. And this is one of the reasons that it's like candy to everybody, is that it's a spending bill. It is not a stimulus bill. There's almost nothing in the bill that is stimulus per se. All of it boils down to either spending or giving money back to people so they can spend it. Neither one of which is good for more than, as we used to say, feed a man, or give a man a fish, feed him for a day.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to do. We're throwing this money into the economy for a short period of time, and then it's going to become permanent spending, because California will remain, as a loyal Californian, we're going to remain addicted to spending, and this is money that's going to be used to hide our $40 billion deficit.
So when you hear it called a bipartisan plan, probably doesn't sit well with you.
Well, let's see. Out of 535 members of the House and Senate, they got 3 senators total to vote for it. So let's see, 535 members, 3 Republicans voted for it. No, I wouldn't call it particularly bipartisan. When the House voted against this bill, we had 11 Democrats voting against it. So should we call it, even though we failed, should we call it bipartisan opposition? You know, I'm very proud of the 11 Blue Dogs who voted against it.
Yeah.
But quite frankly, this is a Democrat spending bill by a Democrat president. And unfortunately, when the money's gone, people are going to see that most of it, the vast majority of it, was not targeted stimulus. It was simply new government program. There's
Congressman Issa,
programs.
thank you so much for talking with us and sharing your thoughts on this. We have to take a break here, but we look forward to talking with you again.
Anytime.
And enjoy your day in Washington.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Congressman.
Thanks so much. Well, some of America's brightest young minds are right here in San Diego.
Yeah, and they're getting brighter by the day. Joe Lazur is out at San Ysidro High School talking to some top students. Hello, Joe.
Back in school. Miss Osagira's class is where I am this morning. Good morning. How are you?
Fine.
So your class has some very nice honors that we have to talk